morning. I am Bozidar Stojadinovic from ETH Syria in Switzerland, and I'm going to tell you about a mission that we organized together with the Serbian Association of Earthquake Engineering and members of the University of Belgrade. The mission was done between March 16 and March 21. You see roughly the cities that were visited. There were 16 of them all total. The mission was defined, of course, by the damage that other people already reported. And as you can see, the team itself consisted of younger people mainly. I didn't go. There were 3 people from ETH Zurich, 2 from Belgrade and the Serbian Association, 2 hosts from Turkey, female professors from universities in Istanbul. They were very, very helpful, of course. The professor from Aachen joined our team later. So what did we see? The first and the foremost thing that everybody goes there to see are the reinforced concrete buildings, with or without masonry infills, and they didn't really do well. Soft stories are the main reason for their failures, and we agree, and this is something that we ought to look at, especially because we know how to do this better. We have seen this before. The Turkish code is good, the 2018 one especially, but this just wasn't done. There is no excuse for this to happen again. Tunnel buildings were also interesting to take a look at, especially because there is word that there will be more of them, that they did well, and they did do okay. They did not collapse in many, many cases, but there are often damage to the shear walls, especially where the lap splices are, the coupling beams also. So if in the future this becomes the go-to technology to build new buildings in Turkey, detailing should be carefully done, well executed, and controlled and inspected. So if this goes, there is a good chance these buildings will do well. They have a lot of shear wall area compared to the floor area. They just need to be executed well. Infrastructure, we wanted to look at that, as you will see a little bit later, because infrastructure performance is related to recovery and the resilience of regions, and we were happy to see that bridges did well, and as we already saw, there are movements in the bearings of modern bridges, but they still can carry traffic both above and allow traffic below. Water, an interesting, of course, a vital resource. This is an example of a water tower, probably the same one as the other team saw. Stood up, but the pipes broke, corrosion, poor maintenance. And why is the infrastructure important? Because we need to move on, people need to move on. And what our team noticed is that in buildings that were not very damaged, shops below, bakeries, cafes were working. However, neighborhood-wise, there were differences. In neighborhoods where a few buildings collapsed, power and water and gas were switched off. In neighborhoods where the buildings were damaged but there were no severe collapses, power, water, and gas were on. So whoever could open up their cafe, shop, store, business was working. And so infrastructure services matter to functional recovery of buildings. It's not only the damage. The other thing that we are looking at is the recovery, the beginning of the recovery effort. It was the demolition and the removal of the debris. And I have a long video of several minutes that my team took of street after street and lot after lot of trucks and bulldozers moving debris. And this is what is going on now, but owners were asking what to do next. There is very little coordination. People who are doing things, they're doing it themselves. The material is there, it's a little bit more expensive. But it is really the instructions from the government that most are waiting on. And this waiting time and uncertainty is degrading the community spirit. People are disillusioned, people are moving out, and this is something that we can take care of immediately. Because where the dot is where we are in this resilience curve. We are at the very bottom and we are starting recovery. The objective is to make this a good, fast recovery. How can we do this? The models that we have developed in the past 2 years for simulating the recovery process, bottom up, could possibly be good enough to use now to direct local authorities as to how to do the recovery better. We have some simulations, we have no data to check them against, but contacting local authorities and telling them that these tools exist could possibly bring us into a what-if situation and help them do things better. Also, for our own research, I'm a researcher at the university, for our own sake, we can now and should conduct longitudinal studies. The visits we conducted in March were great. We should have another follow-up in July, possibly in October, a year later, several years later. Longitudinal studies are important for validating our recovery models. And with that, I want to end and thank you for my team and thank also ERI for inviting me and letting me talk in this event. Thank you.